Dispensing Technologies 1:1 methyl methacrylate airless sprayer proportions and sprays methyl methacrylate at a ratio of 1:1 parts by volume. It is equipped with a Honda GX160 engine with oil alert and a hydraulically operated airless pump and hydraulic power pack. It features a 12-volt DC industrial duty air compressor and air tank, along with an ASME solvent tank for purging the static mixer gun and spray tip periodically to prevent the material from setting up in the mixer or gun. The regularity with which you need to flush is determined by several factors, including how much catalyst is used in the B component as well as the outside temperature. It is recommended that the battery be charged nightly with the included charger. Use of other types of chargers is not recommended. The static mixer is conveniently located in the handle of the spray gun. The A and B components stay completely separate until they are out of the manifold and in the disposable mixer. The spray gun is equipped with 3 valves. The top valve is the solvent flush valve and should only be open when flushing the mixer and gun with solvent. The middle valve is for the A component and the bottom valve is for the B component, which has been pre-catalyzed. Both the A and B valves should be open when spraying, and both valves should be closed when solvent flushing. Never operate the machine with one valve opened and one valve closed. The throttle and emergency stop are conveniently located at the operator position. Also included between the throttle and kill switch is the on-off switch for the air compressor pump. The engine should always be running when the air compressor is turned on. The orange handle turns the spray pump motor on or off. It is currently shown in the off position. The knob located just under the solvent tank controls the hydraulic pressure to the motor and therefore the ultimate fluid pressure supplied to the gun and tip for atomization. Turn the knob clockwise to increase pressure and counterclockwise to decrease pressure. The machine is equipped with 2 independent valves for recirculating the A and B component from the pump outlet back to the material reservoir. They are also used for relieving the pressure in the pumps. The valves shown here are currently in the open position. It is extremely important that both valves are either in the open or closed position. Never have one valve opened and one valve closed. Excessive pressures in the pump with the closed valve could occur. At the top of both fluid pumps, there are wet cups for the throat seal lubricant. Squirt a small amount of the throat seal lubricant supplied with the machine into the cup. Suction tubes supplied for both the A and B materials, which along with the recirculation hoses are inserted into the respective material containers after mixing the correct amount of catalyst into only the B-side resin. In preparation for spraying, open both of the recirculation valves and turn the hydraulic pressure knob fully counterclockwise to the lowest setting. The valve at the hydraulic motor should be in the off position when starting the engine. Make sure that the fuel valve is in the on position and the choke is set at approximately the midpoint. The switch on the right hand side of the engine must be in the on position, fully clockwise. Start the engine and allow it to warm up for several minutes. Then turn choke to the off position. Turn off the ball valve on the outlet of the air tank and relieve the air pressure on the solvent tank using the petcot. Remove the lid and fill the tank about 3/4 full with solvent. Once filled, replace the lid and close the petcock. Increase engine throttle setting full to the right. Maximum engine speed is preset at the factory. Turn on the air compressor and open the ball valve at the air tank, which supplies pressure to the solvent tank. Air compressor will shut off automatically at approximately 115 to 120 psi and turn back on at approximately 85 psi. Slowly open the hydraulic supply valve at the hydraulic motor. Increase the hydraulic pressure by turning the pressure control knob to clockwise until the pumps begin to cycle slowly. If pumps have previously been flushed with solvent, you may wish to put recirculation hoses into a waste container so that the solvent in the pumps and hoses do not get pumped into the fresh resin. When solvent is purged, turn off the hydraulic valve at the pump motor and place the recirculation hose back into the material container. Close both of the recirculation valves. It is now time to purge the solvent and air from the material hoses to the gun. When using the machine for the first time, it is recommended that the gun and mixer are removed from the hoses to allow solvent to be directed to a waste container. Remove gun from the gun holder and mount firmly in a vise. Using a 1-inch open-end wrench on the flats nearest the manifold, remove the gun from the manifold. Next, open both material ball valves simultaneously. Be sure the manifold is firmly grounded to the metal waste container. The ball valve handle arrows will be in line with the hoses when the valves are open. Open the valve at the hydraulic motor and allow pumps to cycle slowly until clean material is observed coming from the outlet manifold. The pressure may need to be increased as the hoses fill with the thicker resin material. Turn hydraulic pressure knobs clockwise until pumps continue to cycle and the resin flows from both the A and B ports on the manifold. Next, turn the ball valve to the off position on the hydraulic motor. Turn off both the A and B valves to the off position simultaneously. Remember, both valves must be either open or closed at the same time. Now we will install a static mixer into the gun handle. Mount the gun in the vise as shown and snap off the trigger guard. Using a 1-inch wrench, remove the handle and gun nut from the spray gun. Clamp the gun nut end in the vise and remove the handle from the nut. After trimming the mixer about 1/2 inch, apply a generous amount of white lithium grease to the outside of the mixer and the threads of the mixer shroud to prevent it from sticking later on and to prevent the component parts from galling. Apply additional grease to the thread on the end and install the mixer shroud onto the nut that is still in the vise. Tighten securely with a 1-inch wrench. Mount the spray gun back in the vise and install the handle onto the spray gun after lubricating the threads with the grease. Tighten both the mixer shroud and the nut onto the gun. Snap the trigger guard back into place onto the gun handle. Now you are ready to install the gun back to the manifold. Next, mount the manifold with hoses into the vise and attach the spray gun onto the manifold. Lubricate generously and tighten securely, being aware of the alignment of the spray gun handle in relationship to the valves and Reinstall the gun and manifold into the gun holder and open both material ball valves at the gun. Turn on the valve at the hydraulic motor. Next, increase the hydraulic pressure until the fluid pressure is approximately 2000 psi. Try a test line for proper atomization. Increase the hydraulic pressure as required for proper atomization. Adjust the height of the gun or change the tip to a different fan width to adjust the line width. When purging during the workday, close both ball valves at the gun manifold and reverse the spray tip. Pull the trigger to relieve pressure in the gun. Next, open the solvent flush valve, the top valve, and trigger the gun into a metal waste container, making sure to connect the ground strap to the metal container using the supplied ground clamp. You must use a grounded metal container or the static sparks may cause the solvent to flash. When done purging, close the purged ball valve. At the end of the day, follow these procedures to relieve all pressure from the hoses in the machine. Turn off the valve at the hydraulic motor, then open the recirculation valve simultaneously to relieve the pressure in the pumps. With the gun grounded to a metal container, open both resin valves and reverse the spray tip at the gun and trigger the gun into a waste container until all of the pressure in the hoses is dissipated. With the spray tip reversed and the gun grounded to a metal container, close both of the resin ball valves at the manifold. Next, open the solvent valve, then trigger the gun several times in short bursts. Reverse the spray tip back to the spray position and trigger the gun several more times. Turn off the air supply valve to the solvent tank and relieve pressure by opening the petcock valve. Turn off the air compressor on the control panel. Push the stop button for the engine on the control panel. Turn off the engine switch on the right side of the engine, and then shut off the fuel valve on the engine. Remove the spray tip and tip holder from the guard and soak in a small solvent-filled container overnight or clean thoroughly. Remove the gun and mixer from the manifold and clean the spray gun thoroughly as previously shown. Install a new mixer into the gun, reassemble, and reinstall the gun onto the manifold to be ready to spray the next day. This concludes our instructional video. Thank you for choosing Dispensing Technologies 1-to-1 methacrylate sprayer. If you have any further questions or concerns, please contact customer service at 1-800-529-0000 7733.